Hi, good morning from Kingston, Jamaica, and this is a personal storytelling workshop where I'm using the personal storytelling tool. And let me just pop out my little intro. Okay, here we are. For consistency's sake, hi, welcome to the personal storytelling workshop. I am Oneika Russell, a visual artist based in Kingston, Jamaica. In this workshop, I use the personal storytelling tool. Here it is. A card deck to create opportunities for social engagement and self-inquiry in my art practice. The tool is a card deck inspired by the artwork of Luigi Savan, Philip Thomas, Mafalda Mondestein, and my own work. So today we will be looking at, I think we're going to continue the mythology, the legends, folk stories, but this time we're going to aim it at gods and goddesses, which we did a little bit a couple weeks ago of that with the folk tales, the folklore. But today we're going to use the Legendary Ladies book by Shen. I think it's put out by is it Chronicle Books. So yeah. I'm going to read one of the stories that she's written, and then we're going to go into kind of looking at using the cards to look at some of the themes that we have present here and coming up with a kind of core story. And then if anyone is here, then we can do a session privately. But if no one is here, that's also fine, and we will continue to do a more general story. Okay, so that is where we're going. All right, so first thing, I'm gonna just I didn't pre-choose a story today. I want to just kind of flip through, which is what I was doing in the first week. Okay, there's tons of, this is Legendary Ladies. It's 50 goddesses to empower and inspire you. I've had this book and I haven't read it. But here's a chance. What I like is that it's got goddesses from all over the world. Okay, so there's protection. There's a protection section here. I normally have my phone and I kind of log in. Let's see if we could do that. Okay, there we are. There we are. I'm going to put us on a shared screen. Okay, so here we are. We're looking at our contents. It's really hot in Kingston, so let's Let's look here. Okay, so I'm looking at these stories. We have a couple that look interesting. This Durga, Hecate, Kali, Kuan Yin, and Maat, Rhiannon, Yamoya. There's so many that are interesting. Maybe what we'll do is we'll do a series. Maybe next week I'll do more of this. Definitely. Oh my gosh, protection. This is a protection one. All right, so I'm interested in I don't know, Kali. Let's look at Kali. That's page 87. Okay, there's an image that we have by Shen, who's also illustrated this book. And then I'm going to read. The origin of Kali is Indian. Mythology is that she's a wild goddess of destruction. Kali existed before Hinduism came to India. Wow. She was rumored to have been born at the beginning of time, manifesting when demons threatened the earth. Kali is also known as a dark incarnation of the goddess Parvati. Her uncontrollable dance of destruction saved the world, but then began to destroy it until her beloved Shiva lay at her feet to help her regain control over her actions. Wow. For those who worship Kali, she is a warm and loving mother figure, depicted with black skin and a pointed tongue. Kali is a loyal guardian for those who call for her protection. She is responsible for life and death, and her powers bring protection, health, abundance, and fertility to her devotees. Kali's chaotic nature and her wild, disheveled snake hair speak to her primordial nature, and her extreme personality makes her difficult to understand. Her followers believe that to understand her is to be truly free from fear. That makes sense. Because if you're following somebody who can destroy the earth, then you don't have any worries, right? I think that's very similar to Christian ideals, where because we know that I come from a Christian country. I'm not necessarily a follower of the faith, but we do come from a Christian background. I feel that Christianity has a lot to inform us on ideas and world development. But there's so many interesting spiritual paths and religions and beliefs that I think all have a say. So that's just my take. But that's very similar in Jamaica. We think about God as the creator, and has also had the ability to destroy the earth. So I think Kali is seemingly like that fatherly or paternal image of the Lord God, the divine Father in Christianity, where this figure was willing to destroy what was not going well, I think in the Old Testament, and in the New Testament was much more forgiving and loving for the devotees. So I see some comparisons there. So she's before Hinduism came to India. I would love to know more about that. If you are watching this recording and you know a little bit more about Kali, please do share, especially if you have experience working with Kali, you know the stories, you have a cultural background, whatever it is that is interesting to share. Parvati. I wonder if Parvati is in this book as well. Kali seems to be the one that is pretty popular. Parvati. Yeah. Yes, we're in luck. Okay. So 50. That is good. Parvati. Okay, this is the image we have from Shen. And so it says the origin is Hindu. The golden Hindu goddess of love and devotion. Parvati forms a holy trinity with Saraswati, goddess of knowledge, and Lakshmi, goddess of fortune. According to the legend, Parvati was born in the Himalayan mountains as a daughter of King Himavat and Queen Minavati. She is the embodiment of nurturing feminine energy in complement to her husband Shiva, the god of chaos and regeneration. Worshipped for her patience and determination, Parvati won Shiva over by ascending into the mountain and practicing asceticism until he couldn't resist her and spent all his time trying to please her. She was also regarded for her strength and ferocity when the hero Kartikeya, who was a son of Shiva, became a lustful monster, raping all the women he encountered. Wow. Parvati cursed him so that every time he attempted to rape a woman, she turned into Parvati's likeness, and that ended his rampage. That's I think that's great that there's a story that talks about some kind of justice for violence against women, even by some kind of mythological creature, but they had to be raped before they would turn into Parvati, into a likeness of her. In another legend, Parvati grew tired of Shiva making fun of her for her dark skin, so she went into the mountains and once again practiced asceticism until Brahma came to grant her wish. She wanted to be golden skinned, so he blessed her by separating her darkness, which then manifested fully sprung as the goddess Kali. Now Parvati has more than 100 different incarnations depending on her mood. Parvati is also known for the creation of her son Ganesha, the benevolent elephant, head god of wisdom who removes obstacles. That's amazing. That is amazing. I like this. So we started with Kali. We're gonna make our way back to Kali, but I like how there's a goddess that she is fighting for women. It's interesting that the punishment is that you transform to look like her, so it's almost like the monster or the is going to see her looking back at them, and so maybe there's some kind of shame, something about like seeing what you have done. That's really exciting to get into in the story. All right. She's related to Ganesha, which is so well known. Certainly in Jamaica, I think it's very well known. Or worldwide, it's like one of the Kali and Ganesha are some of the two main gods, god and goddess. Shiva. Okay, there's something interesting there. So her skin, her darker skin, one, her husband made fun of her for her dark skin. That's I think about that now. Like, if you think about that in the context of, like, let's say the African diaspora, you have dark skin, and colorism is definitely something that we experience here. In the Afro diaspora in Africa, probably as well. It's hard to think that that escaped Africa, particularly wherever colonization happened, right? So it's interesting. And in Jamaica, we do have a bleaching problem. I don't know if it's declined, but there was a time when it was maybe 10 to 5 years ago, it was very prevalent. I think with COVID, maybe that's dropped off a little bit, but there are no numbers to prove that. A lot of the creams that come to Jamaica come from India. Yeah, because there's a well-established, how to say, industry for creams. And it's just interesting that her husband, her lover, was making fun of her, even a goddess of such high ranking and high status. And then she was fed up, so she really disliked this, but he wasn't going to stop, apparently. Anyway, so she went to the mountains, is it? And then the darkness was extracted from her, and that became the incantation of Kali. That's interesting. And Kali is very she's known as the destroyer. Isn't that, like, interesting? I'm wondering, so dark skin is maybe associated with darker elements, which is very similar to European, the way that European stories also present dark skin and European culture. Sometimes dark skin is very aesthetically pleasing. So let's my window's open and there's tons of cars in the morning, bikes going by. All right, so here we have Kali. That's beautiful. That's such a beautiful painting. I don't know if it is different cultures, if painting your goddess or god in a particular way is important, or if representation at all is restricted. Anyway, Kali has been around since the beginning of time, long before Hinduism. And Hinduism is a very old religion or faith. Yeah, beginning of time. She was there to protect when demons threatened the earth. And there's something interesting that I see here too, where Shiva, who's the husband as well, so Parvati, Kali came from Parvati as one of the moods or incarnations. and it's like she was in a rage of destruction. It's like a rage, right? It's like once she got going, she couldn't stop, and so like her husband now, Parvati's husband, who there is a connection to Shiva, had to come to her and say, hey, remember, like almost like a calming down, centering her, helping to soothe her, and then helped her regain control of her actions. That's interesting. I like how they show how these deities, these very powerful couples, like I guess he accepted that his wife Parvati had all these incarnations, and then he was able to help her with that particular one. It's very it's very relatable. How we all have moods and we all change in different ways, and I find that interesting that is included in this story. If you are a devotee, she is warm and loving mother figure. It's interesting that I rarely see her depicted with her black skin. There's always the blue skin. There's a couple. I think whenever I look up Kali, I see the blue skin. All right, so I think we have considered Kali and Parvati a lot. Let us now look at let us now get our cards and see what we can come up with. Never fails. The difficulty of this deck. Okay. All right, so we have our cards. I'm going to pull out anything that reminds me of the story of Kali. I don't know, this one seems to remind me of somebody looking at destruction and rage or chaos. So let me put that aside. Oh yes. Yes. This one is someone definitely in some kind of action, and things are, whatever these objects are around, are being are generating around the person. And this one is like a settling down. Ooh, I like this one. This is definitely somebody in, it's a lot, it's almost like a deity as well. And there's that kind of shadowy, darker skin. Can be a Kali type. I'm gonna put that one back because I think that this one, oh, you know what? This one could be good for when the storm is subsiding. Okay, and then I like this one as well for like settling things. Okay. I like this one for Shiva, bringing Kali into a settled state. All right, so I think we have some cards that we can look at now. Let me just clear my my table. Okay, so we have that. That should be last, I think. Let's zoom out a little bit. Okay. I like that things have settled. I'm gonna put this one here because it's like settling all the kind of destroying energy. And then we have Kali in her rage, her destroying phase. Is she in rage? I don't know. If you know more about Kali, please do let me know in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube or Instagram or wherever. Yeah. So I think we see that destroyer phase, and then we see her in that full state of power. But then maybe there's some kind of loss of control. There's so much. There's like a really embodiment of this darkness. And also we could have Shiva looking at the destruction here, and then we have him still looking, and that calms her down. And then we have things kind of settling. Okay, so I think we have sometimes we get into, let's kind of try to boil that down to an essence. Sometimes we get into a rage, a kind of energy where we are almost in a trance in a way. You don't have control. It's for a reason. There's definitely always a reason. Either you're saying like, this is wrong, whatever is happening is wrong, I don't agree with this thing, it's not fair, there needs to be justice in this situation. But sometimes we can get carried away with that and lose control, because when you're in that state, it's like a whole set of emotions and chemicals and things that take over, and you're no longer operating in the kind of rational space. It's almost like another being takes place, which is how I can see Kali as the incarnation of Parvati in a certain mode. And then maybe someone has the ability to calm us down. I think it also is a very telling thing for people to how somebody's reaction to you can change the outcome. So if you are meeting her rage with more rage, like let's also rage together, or her let's destroy together, then that would be an uncontrollable situation. But there's almost a balanced pair, because Shiva is able to balance himself and show her that look at what you're doing, just through awareness. And so that also allows her to come down to meet that. That's really interesting. And then things settle again. But that doesn't mean that we will not have certain characteristics and roles and functions to do again. Okay, so that is the story today. Oh God, it's so hot. Yeah, so I want to end with maybe just one card to reflect. I'm gonna just get my deck, just take one card, this one. This is someone who is in a passive state, but there's a lot of activity going on. This is someone who has things on their mind, things floating around them. Maybe there's a lot of tension or built up feelings. It's not a smooth passage. If this is you, if you relate to that or you connect to this image, what is making you tense? What is making you tense, and what are the things around you that are distracting? Sometimes just identifying that can be very enlightening and can bring us down in the way that Kali was able to be brought down by Shiva. So, thank you all for coming to personal storytelling workshop. And I've had fun again, and you can catch this on YouTube. The whole playlist is there. Take care. Let's pause our recording. I will see you on Mondays and Wednesdays here in the workshop. Catch the link on Instagram, Facebook, or my website.